Today, my group and I will present about sugar under code SK40502 from Principal and Technology in Food and Industry. And my group consists of me, myself, Chelsey, Lynn, BS22110053, Dina, Hanani, BS22110046, and Masitah, Binti, Rosli, BS22110023.
Introduction. Sugar are naturally present in many fruit, vegetable, and dairy products. They are also manufactured and added to the food for several purposes, which are to improve the texture and structure, add the sweetness and enhance the flavor, balance the acidity, control the crystallization in the sweet, support yeast activity in the banking, and help to prevent spoilage by binding water and reducing its availability. All sugar belongs to the carbohydrate groups. The structure of the sugar molecule varies according to the level of complexity. There are two types of sugar, which is monosaccharide, glucose, fructose, and galactose. Next is disaccharides, sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Here is some type of the sugar found in the food, which are allulose, found in the brown sugar or the raisins, corn syrup, found in the corn, and the fructose, found in the fruit and vegetable sugar, and the lactose, found in the milk sugar, and the sucrose is found in the sugarcane and the beets. Table sugar known as a sucrose is the disaccharide. Sucrose, also called sucrose, is a saccharide produced by many plants such as sugarcane or sugar beets. It has 4 calories per gram. Sucrose reacts with the water during hydrolysis to produce two sugars, which are glucose and fructose. The product contains several essential minerals and vitamins, including calcium 0.1%, potassium 0.06%, zinc 0.09%, manganese 0.70%, iron 0.63%, sodium 0.0%, copper 0.78%, selenium 1.0%, and vitamin B2 1.5%. Among these, vitamin B2 and selenium are present in the higher percentage, indicating their significant contribution to the overall nutrition.
Then I will proceed with sugar production from sugarcane. Basically, it involves 9 main steps, which is starting with harvesting process, followed with extraction and then clarification. After that is evaporation, crystallization, and centrifugation process. It is then proceeded with drying and cooling process. After all of the process, it will be packed for shipping and sales. So these are the 9 steps involved in producing.
Okay, as you can see in the slide, this is the overall process of producing sugar. As I mentioned before, it involves 9 main steps, starting from the sugarcane at the farm until we get the final sugar crystal. So first, we start with harvesting. Major sugarcane is cut and brought to the factory. This is the raw material that will go through all the processing steps. Next is extraction. The sugarcane is washed, shredded, and crushed using a milling chain. The aim is to squeeze out the sugar-containing juice from the cane. The leftover fiber, which is called as bagasse, which is usually used as a fuel to generate steam and power in the factory. After that, the juice goes through clarification. Lime is added to remove impurities. This also helps the solid particles settle at the bottom, producing a clear sugar juice on top. The clear juice is then sent to the evaporation stage. Here, water is removed by heating using a multiple effect evaporators. The juice becomes thicker and turned into syrup. Next is crystallization. The concentrated syrup is boiled in the vacuum pans to form sugar crystal. This is where the sugar actually starts to appear. After crystal form, the mixture goes through centrifugation. The centrifuge separates the sugar crystal from the remaining liquid, which is known as molasses. The wet sugar crystals are then sent for drying. Hot air is used to remove remaining moisture so the sugar does not clump together. Once dry, the sugar goes through a cooling process, which is to stabilize the crystals and prevent them from melting or sticking. And finally, the sugar is ready for packaging. It is packed into bags or container and stored before being transported to consumer. So in summary, the sugar production process involves 9 main steps, as I mentioned before. Each step is important to ensure the sugar produced is clean, pure and good quality.
Now, I will explain the detailed process of sugar manufacturing from sugarcane. For this slide, I'll focus on the first 3 steps, which is harvesting, extraction, and clarification. So, sugar production starts with harvesting the sugarcane. The cane can be harvested either manually or mechanically. Once the cane is cut, it must be transported to the mill as quickly as possible. This is important because sucrose inside the cane can degrade if it left too long. So the main focus moving forward with evaporation process. At this stage, the clear sugarcane juice is sent into multiple effect evaporator. Here, the main purpose is to remove as much water as possible. And it's done under vacuum so the juice can boil faster without damaging the quality. As the water evaporates, the juice becomes thicker and its brick values increase. By the end of this stage, we get a concentrated syrup that is supersaturated. This is important because only supersaturated syrup is suitable for the next step. Once the syrup is ready, it is boiled again inside vacuum pans. The boiling is controlled carefully to maintain supersaturation. And at this point, sugar crystals start forming. To make sure all crystals grow evenly, small seed crystals are added. This whole process produces what we call as Masitah, which is a mixture of sugar crystal and the remaining liquid called mother liquor. After crystallization, the Masitah is transferred into centrifuge. The centrifuge spins the mixture at high speed to separate the solid sugar crystal from the liquid. So, we got 2 products. The first one is the sugar crystal, which is collected as the main product, and the molasses, which is the liquid part. Next is drying process. At this stage, the wet sugar crystals are still holding some moisture. So, they are sent into a rosary or fly dye bed dryer. The goal here is to reduce the moisture level to around 2 to 4%. This drying step is very important because it prevents the sugar from clumping together and also helps to stop the microbial growth. Basically, we make sure the sugar is dry, free-flowing, and safe for storage. Once the crystals are fully dry, they can still be quite warm. So the next step is cooling. The dry sugar passes through cooling drums or conveyor to bring the temperature down. This helps prevent melting, cracking, or sugar sticking together later. Cooling ensures that the sugar stays stable and maintain good quality during storage and transport. And the final step is packaging. Here, the sugar is screened to make sure the crystal size is uniform. Then it packed according to its intended use, either into retail pack, bulk bags, or stored in large silos. At this stage, the product is ready to be distributed as either raw sugar or refined white sugar, depending on the type produced. So these are the 9 complete of the sugar manufacturing process, and prepare the final sugar for distribution.
To the advantages and disadvantages of sugar. So first of all, there are a few advantages of sugar such as enhanced flavor and texture, improve shelf life, and facilitate the food preservation. When we consume sugar, we also release endorphins and serotonin in our body, which offers temporary relief from our stress. However, there are several drawbacks when we consume a lot of sugar, such as it may affect our human health, which leads to obesity and heart disease. And next, it may also affect to our dental health, which leads to tooth decay and gum disease. Next, it also may have an impact on metabolic health, where it causes insulin resistance and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And lastly, high intake of sugar can also lead to impaired nutrient absorption, where it leads to deficiency in essential nutrients such as vitamins and minerals. In conclusion, sugar does give several benefits such as provide energy, enhance flavor and texture, and preserve food, but it is important to take moderate intake to minimize the potential side effects like affecting metabolic health, dental problems, and nutrient imbalance. Therefore, there are other alternatives to replace sugar as food preservation by using vinegar and lemon juice to lower the pH of foods in order to prevent bacterial growth as replacement for food preservation. Thus, the types of sugar and its production process involve from harvesting from sugarcane, extraction, purification, evaporation, crystallization, centrifugation, drying, and lastly, cooling before packing. These processes are important in food industry, especially to stabilize and extend shelf life and produce good quality of sugar for consumer. That's all from us. Thank you for watching until the end of this video. See you!